seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. All the band is out on the field. That's another knockdown. You know, Jim. You believe in miracles? Yes.
The All Things Sport Podcast with your hosts, Damian Banks and Pierre Banks on Spreaker Radio.
What's happening? What's up? What's going on? It's the All Things Sport Podcast, and I'm your host, Damian Banks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ATS, as I affectionately call it, the All Things Sport Podcast, where I give you, the listener, all things sport. Another week. Sports is life, man. They say ball is life, but sports is life. I'm here to breathe life into you for this week. The All Things Sport Podcast, we're jam-packed this week. I am your host again, Damian Banks. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Sports by Damian. That's SportsBydaimeon. Again, thank you for listening to the All Things Sport Podcast. Go to my website, banksboy.com, BANKSBOY.com. Download this podcast. Download all the other old podcasts. My YouTube channel, In My Humble. Pierre has a blog on there. I have a blog on there. It's a very interactive website. Enjoy your sports media through banksboy.com. We have a jam-packed show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. For my new listeners, come on in. The door is wide open. For my old listeners, welcome back. I'm Damian Banks. This is the All Things Sport Podcast. I keep saying it, man, because I'm so excited to do this podcast every week. My listeners, they're loyal. They're few right now, but they're loyal. I'm building that base. It's like a house that has a foundation. You have to have a solid foundation in order for the house to withstand inclement weather. And my base is so loyal right now. I thank you guys for supporting me and for listening to the All Things Sport Podcast. Again, the podcast is jam-packed this week. I am recording from the Banks Boy Studios in beautiful Durham, North Carolina. And around these parts, we call it Tobacco Road. And you all know that college basketball is king. Around these parts, we have Duke, UNC, NC State, North Carolina Central. They're all top-notch programs in their own rights, and they're all in action right now. College basketball has just started. It's about 10 games into the season. All four of those teams that I mentioned, they're having pretty good seasons to start off with. We'll begin with Duke, man. Coach K, he's at it again, man. Duke is loaded. They have talent up and down that roster. You know, Coach K has so many options on that Blue Devil squad. They had a pretty good week. They beat the brakes off of UNLV. Beat UNLV by almost 50 points, man, 94-45. First time those two teams have played in over 25 years since Duke upset UNLV in the Final Four. So Duke looked very good in that game. Grayson Allen, crazy dunk by Grayson Allen. I think he listened to R. Kelly before that game started, man, because he really believed he can fly. He flew down the lane, one-handed jam. It was so crazy. Duke looks great so far this season, man. Coach K, again, has so many options. Senior Emil Jefferson having a great senior season so far. Double machine. You got the freshman Jason Tatum coming off of injury. He's playing well. Luke Kennard playing really well. He's balling right now. Haven't even seen Harry Giles yet. He's still coming off that knee injury, trying to, get his groove back. And Duke looks really well, man. Duke is playing really well, They look really good. So, look for big things for Coach K and the Blue Devils this year. Also, man, another team that's playing pretty well right now is the NC State Wolfpack, man. Mark Gottfried has his young squad playing really well. Had a tough game against Tennessee State. In Reynolds Coliseum. They play one game a year in Reynolds Coliseum. The Wolfpack usually play in PNC Arena, but they do play that one game a year in Reynolds Coliseum. Took Tennessee State to overtime, had to go to overtime to beat Tennessee State. I love NC State's guard play. Terry Henderson, Torrin Dorn, the freshman Markel Johnson, and the super freshman Dennis Smith Jr. Did you see Dennis Smith Jr. dunk? That windmill, that rock, that he windmilled it at the end of the game to finish off that contest. That kid can play. Wolfpack fans, don't get too used to him playing. He's probably going to be a one and done. A lot of draft pundits have him in the top 5 picks in the upcoming NBA draft, man. But NC State, they're a pretty interesting team. Maverick Rowan, their sharpshooter, he's been out with a concussion. He's back. His first game back was against Tennessee State, so look for him to improve throughout the season. I think NC State's success is going to be predicated on their front court play. Malik Abu, BJ Anya, you have to play well. You got to stay out of foul trouble. Ted Capita, you have to play well. You have to stay out of foul trouble. And once they get Omar Yatservin, the 5-star recruit, He has to serve a 9-game suspension, and he has one more game to serve, I believe. So once they get him back from suspension, NC State will be whole. They need to gel, and I look for them to have a pretty good year. They're going to surprise a lot of teams in the ACC this season. And again, man, this is Tobacco Road, so you can't mention Tobacco Road without mentioning the UNC Tar Heels, man. Roy Williams has another good squad over there in Chapel Hill. Now, right now, Joel Berry II, the team's leading scorer, he's out with an ankle injury. So it's going to be interesting to see how Roy shuffles that lineup, how he handles that injury to Joel Berry, because he was playing great to start the season. The Tar Heels had a tough contest during the exam break with the University of Tennessee at the Dean Dome. They did come away with a slim 73-71 win against Tennessee. They trailed by as many as 8 points during that game. But Nate Britt, senior guard, he stepped up. Kenny Williams stepped up. Tony Bradley, the freshman big man, he stepped up in that game, had a double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds. They survived a off night from Justin Jackson and Kennedy Meeks. So, the depth at UNC is there. It's going to be interesting to see how they gel as a team as well, because they don't have the flash that Duke has, but they have proven players over in Chapel Hill, and they got a lot of upperclassmen with Kennedy Meeks, Justin Jackson, Joel Berry, Nate Britt. Those guys are juniors and seniors, and I look for them to lead the Tar Heels to make a deep run in March this season. And you also have over in Durham, North Carolina Central University, head coach Lavelle Moulton has a senior-laden team this year. And when you got a senior-laden team in college basketball, I look for that type of team to play well from start to finish. And that is not an exception for this North Carolina Central team. They're having a pretty good season so far. Had 2 games this past week. They beat Long Island University Brooklyn 79-56 at home. Had McClendon McDougal Gymnasium rocking. They came up short, the Eagles did, on the road at Coastal Carolina 70-67. So they went 1-1 this week. But the player to watch for North Carolina Central is senior Patrick Cole. He's only averaging 21 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, having an outstanding senior season, also having great contributions from seniors Rashawn Madison and DeJuan Graff, man. So that roster over there in Durham for North Carolina Central, it's upperclassmen heavy, and I know Lavelle Moulton knows what to do with an upperclassman-laden team. I look for them to contend for the MEAC championship, win that MEAC championship, and get that automatic berth for the NCAA tournament. So Tobacco Road, it's on, and Poppington around here, college basketball just getting started. My favorite time of the year. You got the NFL going on right now, NBA going on right now, college basketball, boxing, hockey, NCAA tournament soccer action, NCAA tournament volleyball action. This is the All Things Sport Podcast. I cover all things sports. I was flicking the channels, if I can digress for a second, if I can veer off to the left for a second. I was flicking the channels the other day, man, and kudos to the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill, their athletic program. I was flicking the channels. I was looking at college soccer, and the Tar Heels were playing in the Final Four against Stanford in college soccer, and then I flipped it to another channel on ESPN, and the women's volleyball team was taking on UCLA in the NCAA tournament, man. That program over there at UNC, if you want to model yourself after excellence in athleticism, and it hurts me to say this because I'm a lifelong NC State Wolfpack fan, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, their athletic program is second to none. You go from football to basketball to baseball to softball, women's soccer, men's soccer, lacrosse, field hockey. They always compete at a high level. So I was just flicking the channels, man, and I'm watching college volleyball. I'm watching soccer. I'm watching boxing, and I'm thinking to myself, I cannot wait to do the All Things Sport podcast and talk about some of these things, because I literally watch all sports, man. I may not watch the whole game, but I will watch, for a few minutes on every sport. And I enjoy, just watching sports and watching the interactions between the players and the coaches and just the sheer competitiveness for each and every sport, man. So when I watch those games, I think about stuff that I can talk about on the All Things Sport podcast. And I just wanted to mention that UNC, man, kudos to them, man. They really have an outstanding athletic department, really outstanding athletic program. Even the football team, they're going bowling. I'll talk about that later in the podcast. We're gonna talk about the college football playoffs, the Final Four, on this podcast today. We're gonna talk about the teams in the state of North Carolina that are going bowling. NC State's going bowling. North Carolina's going bowling. North Carolina Central is going bowling. Appalachian State is going bowling. Shout out to head coach Scott Satterfield and the Mountaineers, winners of the Sun Belt Conference. They're going bowling. A lot of great things going on in this beautiful state of North Carolina sports-wise. So, we're going to get into all of that and so much more on this edition of the All Things Sport podcast. I'm going to take this commercial break, take a sip of this Crystal Geyser spring water. Lady, you know how I feel about water. I don't like purified drinking water. I prefer spring water. I'm going to take a swig of this water. We're going to play a few commercials. Don't go anywhere, but if you do, come on right back. We'll be back in about a minute on the All Things Sport podcast on Spreaker Radio.
What up? This is Pierre Banks, and when I'm back in Boone watching the Mountaineers, my first stop is always Mountaineer Mania. The good folks at Mountaineer Mania have the widest selection of app gear, so you can cheer on the Mountaineers in style. T-shirts, hats, hoodies, sweatshirts, decals, cornhole sets. I mean, if you need it, they've got it. So head on down to Mountaineer Mania at 497 West King Street in Boone and tell them I sent you.
Welcome back to the All Things Sport podcast. I am your host, Damian Banks. Again, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, SportsByDaimeon. That spells Sports by Damian. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I would appreciate it. I don't have thousands of followers right now. I would love to have that many followers. That's why I'm begging you, I'm imploring you to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I don't spend all day on Instagram and Twitter, but I am on there frequently, and I would appreciate it if you followed me. Again, at Sports by Damian, SportsByDaimeon. I'm making it very simple for you to follow me. I don't have two different handles. My handle is the same for Instagram. It's the same for Twitter. It's the same for Tumblr. It's the same for every social media site. So follow me on Instagram and Twitter, please, and I thank you kindly. This portion of the All Things Sport podcast is brought to you by my good friend Gerald Robinson's company, Triangle Entertainment Worldwide. If you're an aspiring artist, whether it be musician, a poet, a dancer, whatever you are artistically, you can go to teworldwide.com. Triangle Entertainment Worldwide, it provides so many services for aspiring artists. Things such as video and Photoshop production, talent management consultation, label shopping, performance booking, CD duplication and artwork, Reverb Nation services, logo designs, press kit creations, bio write-ups, legal services, radio placements, production placements, mixtape hosting, a whole assortment of services. So if you're an aspiring artist, if you do anything artistically, go to teworldwide.com or call 704-774-6212. Tell them Sports by Damian sent you. All right, now with that being said, let's get back into the podcast. I told you the show is jam-packed, but before I do, you know I have to take a swig of my spring water. Give me one moment, please. If you can hear me in the background, I'm taking a swig now. Oh yeah. Crystal Geyser natural spring water is my preferred spring water. I don't like purified drinking water. I've said this so many times. I prefer spring water, so much more crisp. Anyway, I digress. So this is the All Things Sport podcast. I try to give the listeners all things sport. I try to keep it local. I'm recording from the beautiful